Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Future by Design webinar series. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Amanda Terry on the future of NFTs for social good. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Lisa.
Amanda is a co-founder and Chief Operating Officer for MetaGood, an NFT for social good platform whose mission is to empower communities to be catalysts for positive collective action. MetaGood is modernizing charitable giving through NFTs, making it easier for communities and creators to drive incredible change and raise funds for important issues. They launched On-Chain Monkey, the first profile picture collection, all on-chain in a single transaction that raised funds for the Giga Project to bring internet to schools globally. She's also co-founder and managing partner of ACTAI Ventures, an early-stage fund for tech for good investments. She's helped to run community for ACTAI Global, a 501c3 uniting athletes, conservationists, technologists, artists, and innovators, supporting active conservation of our environment as partners to Ocean Elders and Mission Blue, and economic empowerment via entrepreneurship through projects such as the Extreme Tech Challenge. Amanda has over 20 years in digital media sales and business development leadership, experience from Twitter, NBC, Zagat, acquired by Google, 5min, acquired by AOL, Targus Info, acquired by Newstar, and Axicom, acquired by IPG. She has a BA from Princeton University and MBA from the Wharton School of University at Pennsylvania. And I am extremely excited to call Amanda my friend and invite her online to talk with us this morning. Welcome.
Thanks, thanks for having me. Honored.
You're so welcome. And I do have to ask you to share more about On-Chain Monkey. I'm loving your profile pic there on your background. Can you share where did it start and a little bit more about it?
Sure. So this is my monkey that I actually have a few, but I'll tell the story. Basically, the origins of all of this actually go back to my co-founder, Bill Ty, investing in Dapper Labs back in 2018 on the condition that they create a little turtle cat, crypto kitty, that they would then auction off at the Necker Blockchain Summit. And all the proceeds would go to Captain Paul Watson and the Sea Shepherd Society to protect a turtle nesting area from poachers in Antigua. And that was one little crypto kitty. It was auctioned off, did very well. But the thought had always kind of been in his head, well, how do you do that? But instead of one NFT, do it as a collection and for many different causes. And as you know, there's kind of been this proliferation and wave of NFT collections like the Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks, where there's 10,000 profile pic collections. When I say profile pic collections, you can change like this little monkey to your Twitter or Facebook or Discord profile pic. And with that, though, we just noticed that in the space there, most of them, while they've generated a ton of value and revenues, like most of them never had kind of a charitable bent. And so we formed the company MetaGood, myself, Danny Yang, who was the co-founder of MyCoin, which is Taiwan's largest cryptocurrency exchange, and Bill, to basically tackle the problem of like, how do you use NFTs like that Hanu Kitty, but do it at scale for multiple charities. And to answer your question then, this was the first collection that we launched on September 11th of this year, so just a little over 2 months ago. And as you mentioned, it was the first profile pic collection, all on chain in a single transaction, which was historic. That means that all the images, all the metadata all fit in a single transaction, which was a big deal from a technological standpoint. And Danny Yang, my co-founder, basically did this as kind of a technical experiment, launched it for free. And within 4 hours, all 9,500 monkeys had been claimed and minted. I think at the time, gas fees were like $40 or $60. And then a very active trading market and very active community. People like wanted a Discord channel. People we had not done any pre-marketing for it. And there was just a ton of demand for this community, and people wanted to know more about the monkeys. And so he wrote a Medium post about it. And kind of ever since then, it's grown. We've had a number of kind of notable people own the on-chain monkeys. The price has been steadily kind of increasing. I think on average, they're about $2,000 each now. So in aggregate, the collection's worth about $20 million for the community, right? And then we take some 10% royalty every time that they're traded currently in OpenSea. So that's kind of how it works from a business model perspective.
Excellent. And I know we've been talking about for social good as well. And so part of that transaction fee does go back to the charities and to be able to create an ongoing revenue stream and the business model for that. So I think people are getting into that mindset of completely new business models, which is great to see.
Yeah, and what's really been cool is just that how excited our community is about as we said, our mission is to empower communities to be catalysts for positive collective action. And so in the spirit of that, one of our monkeys decided to donate his monkey to the cause, which was UNICEF project Giga Connect, which is bringing internet to schools globally. And so we did a charity auction, and basically within 48 hours of bidding, 12.5 ETH, or what's equivalent today of about 50 grand, was raised and 100% given to Giga Connect. And it was actually Roam from Dapper Labs, CEO of Dapper Labs, and Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin, that were bidding it up. So that was kind of exciting. And then we've decided to reward our community members for doing good deeds. So we're also creating like another NFT collection that will be done by a very well-known art blocks generative artist, computer generative artist. And for the person that donated his monkey, and also Roam that bought it, they'll each be getting another NFT that will be valuable in itself. And the really great thing is it kind of brought up the value of the whole collection, because that was actually the most at the time a monkey had been sold for. And so it was kind of win-win. Giga Connect raising funds, the value of the collection, so all the on-chain monkey holders increasing the value of their monkeys, and then the two people that made that happen also getting NFTs that are valuable. So it was pretty cool.
I love the momentum of that. And so many people are talking about NFTs at the moment. It seems to be the hottest topic and the biggest growing industry and market. And I know that there was huge conversations around artwork, but there's so many other things that can be NFTs as well. Creating the platform Meta Good and being able to do these collections for good and to empower those communities. How do you see the market shifting and the momentum that you're getting because it is for good? Do you think that that'll be enable you to grow even faster?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of artists and creators. I mean, a lot of the NFT movement is around creator empowerment, right? So you don't have to necessarily go through a gallery or a different way to get your art sold. You can just create it, mint it, and it's kind of available via the internet for masses to buy it. But I think on top of that, also a lot of people also want to figure out, is there a way to give back? And it's not very easily done on any platform today. The kind of way that it's set up for most collections, if you're a creator, you collect the revenues, then you actually have to pay taxes on those revenues, even if you want to donate 50, 100% of that to a charity. And so it's not set up very smoothly today for charitable donations. And so we're looking into many ways to make it a much more streamlined process. And also, if you are a NFT holder and you want to, let's say you have 50 NFTs and it's end of year and you want to donate some of your NFTs to charity, we want to make that very streamlined and easy to do as well.
You shared with me the difference between having a one-off piece versus a community of a collection. And I think that's with the Honu Kitty was great, and it was just a one-off. And now the monkeys, there's a whole monkey community. Do you see that as a huge way to continue the momentum? Or do you, how do you see people using NFTs?
I mean, I think there are different ways. So there's definitely artists that could just do kind of a one of one or maybe one of 10 collection and sell them. People just kind of like traditional art might just buy it, hold it. What I think has been really interesting has kind of been the growth of really, I would look at like Dapper Labs and NBA Top Shot, which is kind of like these, if you think it's like video moments of NBA history that are tradable. And if you kind of take the analogy of these baseball cards on paper that people like to collect, except it's a video moment of an NBA game. And people, it's a very, I think, the revenues have actually been significantly more on the trading secondary market than even the first drop sales. And so the real difference between some of this is just, there's many NFTs that could just be an artist selling their works. But then I think what's really interesting are, these larger collections. They can be 5,000, typically they're 10,000. And the artist is actually creating different types of rarity traits. So like for us, if you have a diamond earring, or if you are like our naked monkeys, which are monkeys not wearing any clothes, are very popular as well. There's just certain, also you have a gold fur monkey. There's certain traits that make them more rare. And then people really like to trade it. So it kind of becomes a game in itself. And then it becomes a much more active thing where people are talking about their monkeys. We had a Halloween parade where people like dressed up their monkeys for Halloween and put those on Twitter. We've had people literally create stories about their monkeys, like where they came from, the name. I mean, and it becomes like a really fun kind of active and engaging community.
I did see one in New York. Someone there was one that you projected onto a building. Can you share a little bit more about NFT NYC?
Yeah, so we went there to speak at a couple speak at the conference and have some press interviews. We also actually brought a Burning Man art car called the Car Croach, and we had a very talented Ryan Doyle, who is the creator from Detroit, come out, and he actually welded TV screens on the side of his Burning Man art car, and then projected, we basically had the monkeys kind of on a loop during the TV. So we were driving around New York in the car, which was a lot of fun and, attracted a lot of attention. So, even though it was monkeys, it was really more kind of a guerrilla marketing effort for sure. But we've, to your question about the projections, we've partnered with Luis Hoyos, who's the Oscar-winning director of The Cove, Racing Extinction, and Game Changers, and Chris Lejeune and Travis Thurkel of Obscura Digital. And that team has created a company called Projecting Change. And they've done projections on, the Empire State Building and the Vatican around raising awareness around the mass extinction of animals. So they actually also just did a number of projections during COP26 on the Armadillo building while all the world leaders were meeting. And several of those artists are also going to work with us to basically NFT their art and give a portion of those sales to climate activist causes. So that's probably what you're thinking about the projections was, they did projections on COP26. They also, leading up to COP26, did some projections in LA and also in San Francisco, which were really fun to kind of just raise awareness of the on-chain monkey community and project some of the art that they were going to show at COP26.
What other, have you seen NFTs used in different ways? So that's a great example. And having it on the side of a car and screens on a loop is incredible. What other types of use for NFTs for art have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the word you'll keep hearing is utility. So people want to buy an NFT not just because of the art, like they might like the art, but also like, what is the art or what does that NFT get them? And there's, a great company called One Of, which is basically doing NFTs for different musicians. And so you could be a fan, let's say, of Whitney Houston. I think they're doing a drop tonight for a never heard song from Whitney Houston. So maybe you want to get that NFT because you're just a big fan of hers. So it's almost like a fan memorabilia type thing. That, NBA Top Shop just this year, not only do you own kind of the video moment of a game, but I think they started doing like in-person meetups at different games, at basketball games as well. So sometimes these NFTs are almost like a pass into basically exclusive membership club. I mean, when you think about it, NBA Top Shot's kind of people are very ardent about basketball. Maybe one of is around music. We believe that, people have different passions about all sorts of causes, be it, climate change, animal conservation, mental health, women's rights, social justice, whatever, that, they will want to buy, NFTs and support different causes that they're passionate about. Oh, sorry, again. Yeah.
Keep going.
No, I was just saying there's so many uses. I mean, we see things just at NFT NYC, kind of these proof of attendance. So like literally ticketing was done with NFTs, and then it's basically QR code when you enter through, then, the NFT would change color. And so that's like kind of a proof of attendance type thing. But yeah, I think there's a lot of utility around kind of creating communities. There was a New York Times article about, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if you have a Bored Ape, they literally had a yacht at NFT NYC. They had a big concert. So in some ways, it's kind of like what you're kind of socially signaling what you care about. And, there's different, I would say, kind of personalities or maybe reputations of different NFT collections. There's one called World of Women, which then, it's a female artist. So people are wanting to support, female artists in crypto. I think for us, what we're trying to say is if you own a MetaGood NFT or, one of our on-chain monkeys, basically means you're a good person that wants to support good causes through crypto. And that's kind of the branding that we're working with and really like making that happen through our company.
And you had another example with UNICEF as well, and bringing internet to schools. How is that working?
Yeah, so we did, this was literally one of our monkeys came to us and said he wanted to auction his OCM for charity. And so, Bill has been advising kind of this Giga Connect project, which is, backed by the Elon Musk Foundation, Dubai Cares. And it's a pretty amazing project in that they are mapping the internet connectivity of all schools globally. And that's kind of the first step. And then helping to bring internet to schools, which, as you can imagine, is a huge digital divide in terms of opportunity. I mean, all these things we're talking about, NFTs, even us on Zoom today, like right now, is not possible for, like a very large percentage of the world. And so then, yeah, we basically, created an auction, marketed it to our on-chain monkey community, and then we donated 100% of the funds to that project. And we're actually also helping them, and I'll see you at the crypto finance conference in January, but we'll be also creating a collection for that will also benefit Giga as well. So there's an artist that they found who, Nadia Bramer, who is, I think she's based out of Amsterdam, and she does really cool, again, generative art. So, all computer generated based off of data science and I think she's going to somehow use the data science of the internet connectivity of different regions to create art. And then we'll be helping to market that, and the proceeds there will also go to Giga Connect.
I guess this is such a growing space, and talking about Giga Connect, and one of the realizations that I had was that less than 50% of people have been on the internet, and at terrible internet speeds if they do. And so there's been this huge disparity, but in the next 5 years, most of humanity will all be on the internet. So an extra 3 to 4 billion new minds on the internet at really fast speeds. And so NFTs, having a place there. Why do you think NFTs will be probably more valuable than when people creating content and putting it on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that's interesting about NFTs is obviously non-fungible tokens. They're digital programmable assets, and that live on the blockchain. So they will outlive all of us, for the most part. I mean, once they're created, they should, live on. So I think what's very different about obviously social media is you could post something on Twitter and then try to go back and look for it like 2 days later, and you have to kind of go through your feed. It kind of just dissipates. But the thing with NFTs is they should last for a long time. And you can also, because they're programmable, and this is, I guess, in relation to, traditional art, like if you were trying to do something for charity where you're selling a painting, once you've sold it, there's no more residual revenues that could go back to the original creator, or let's say a charity. But in the case what we're so excited about these NFTs is you could decide, okay, I want 50% to go to whoever buys it, but I want 25% to go back to the original creator, 25% to a charity. So it can kind of be a living and breathing mechanism for fundraising.
Yeah, excellent. So I'm going to go a little off script for a moment. Yeah. So one of the things that I've been getting really excited about is really the ownership. And so when you think about different content that people are creating, and there's been so much on social media, and information is food, and what do we actually consume, and what are we tuning into? And so definitely social good's a big thing for me. If I think of the types of of information, you've got Twitter, which is real time, it's what's happening. You've got Facebook, Instagram, and it's almost like this regenerated content, and a lot of people share quotes or posts, and it's not, you're not actually creating something, a lot of sharing that goes on. And then you've got books, you've got encyclopedias, you've got academic papers, and those different types of information that people have been creating over the last 10 years. I think this will shift to create a lot more value. And so when you've got a smart contract and you can license people to use specific content, we've been thinking about it for keynote talks, and how do you actually have your IP on a smart contract so you can actually license people for a certain use of that. And I think that somewhere in that space is where I see the disconnect of what people are actually seeing the value of NFTs now, that it will actually encourage so many more people to create content that's of huge value, because you want to collect it, you want to have it on your history, you want to have that digital wallet of all of these things for good. So I don't know if you've got any thoughts around that.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, I mean, there are people that are like Tim Berners-Lee sold, the web source code. I think his web source code for like 5.4 million. Time Magazine has been kind of very active in the NFT space of NFT, kind of like past covers of their. So there, I mean, they're definitely like media organizations, I think, looking into it. But it is interesting to think that, like, because it's a digital record, as you think about maybe bringing influencers or notable people in the space, like maybe, if someone owned it before, that's like a notable person, like that may actually increase the value also of these NFTs, because it can all be tracked in terms of who's owned it over time.
This is an awesome history, and I know that you had a webinar last year with Dr. Jun Young, and he was talking about an inclusive stakeholding trust and how people over time all contribute to your success. I'm just thinking, as kids, when it's a lot cheaper to actually create NFTs, do they actually create little NFTs of their artwork, and then they gift that to their parents or their teachers, and then when they're someone very successful in the future and they've changed the world and they've done all these things, let's say they're the next Elon Musk, those kindergarten drawings could be really valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
So just playing out the value over time, and like what would the future look like? I don't know if you sort of think 20 years into the future, what do you think NFTs will be like?
Oh gosh, I mean, I feel like we're moving at such warp speed right now. It's hard to exactly predict, but I mean, I think 20 years, but I could say, I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say in 5, maybe even 10 years, like someone could win the Nobel Prize in finance for bringing back a species, right? Like that would be kind of the goal of our company, to do something like that. So, by kind of harnessing, really the energy of communities and passion and causes with this way to basically raise funds and, continue to raise funds kind of in a sustainable manner. Are there ways that there's an NFT collection that could somehow go to fund the scientists that are trying to bring back like the woolly mammoth, or bring back, the white rhino. So that, I mean, I think that's ultimately where I think, and I don't think we're actually that far off from it. So that's not 20 years. That's probably more like 5 years. But I think that would be a really cool application of NFTs.
It seems like it completely removes the friction for people to be able to say what's important. And I guess it puts a dollar value on that as well. And so, how many people actually want to bring back the white rhino, and then the ability to be able to see that and then trade that NFT highlights that there is an issue.
I mean, in some ways it's kind of like a GoFundMe campaign, but instead of just giving money where there's nothing, I mean, outside of just knowing that you donated to a cause that initially comes back, I mean, you actually have this, this digital token that could actually go up in value. It may not, right? Like it's, a lot of these go up and down in value, but you basically have something that could go up in value, and that you're doing something good and that funds are actually going to good causes.
Do you think we'll all have a digital space like in Spatial, where you actually can invite someone over to your home in augmented reality? And let's say they're, Apple glasses or Google glasses launch and we're wearing augmented reality. Do you think people will actually place them around the room and on their walls with all their digital artwork and have galleries?
I mean, I feel like we're not far. I mean, we're basically in a metaverse right now, right? On Zoom. It's like we're both just particles talking to each other in the metaverse. There's already, filters for Zoom. I mean, I would not be surprised if, like just like this background is something that we created, but you could have a whole universe behind, like a whole metaverse that you could be interfacing with people on and in. Whether it's on Zoom or, all like so many platforms that are developing that type of stuff like Sandbox and yeah.
I guess
Sure.
the crossover of we're having a lot of hybrid events now, and even the examples you gave, being in New York of, you're actually there physically in real person, but you've taken your digital assets with you as well, and you're highlighting and promoting what you care about.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll be doing kind of similar stuff in Miami, where we'll have our car Roach taking us around. We'll have the monkeys. But we're also gonna do a lunch featuring Anouk Whipwreck, who's kind of an interesting fashion tech designer who's based out of Miami. And she's gonna be creating a dress for us that will have little bubbles that will have QR codes that you can also basically get access to NFTs as well. So we're still working out some of the specifics of it, but it's going to be a very interesting kind of real life person with an interesting dress, but also kind of tying in the ability to access NFTs that we'll be giving out at the event. There'll be banana NFTs. So yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I didn't talk about this, but another very interesting part of our on-chain monkey community is we introduced this concept of a banana bot. So every 8 hours, you can go into our Discord, which is really everyone kind of in the space is either, your Twitter, but then Discord for the community. And there's all these different channels. And every 8 hours, you can earn 2 bananas. You can give one to yourself and you can give one to someone else. And if you earn up to 100 bananas, then we're gifting all of our on-chain monkey holders with a second NFT that's been designed by this incredible graphic designer who used to do kind of like Disney type films that will be like kind of a 3D version of your on-chain monkey, which we've had Pussy Riot, Bill, Danny, Roam all kind of reveal what their on-chain monkeys OCM2s look like. So we've created this demand where people are going in and gifting bananas. There's a lot of people, like you can give bananas to people if they're doing good things, good deeds in the community. So we actually have like a job board where you can get bananas for doing little tasks for our community. And there's some people that, we actually hired our first community manager because she had so many bananas just from doing good things in the community that we decided she'd be a great person because she obviously understands our culture, and she's now hired. And so anyway, so yeah, this whole idea of kind of a banana economy has done very well. And now we're actually going to be launching a merch store, so you can get a hat or t-shirt with On-Chain Monkey on it, based off the bananas that you've earned.
That's very, very cool. I'm just thinking, do you have any advice for people that want to start communities and create NFTs?
No, I mean, I would just say get into it. I mean, I saw this stat the other day on Instagram that kind of was, I mean, it was only like 5% of revenues from NFTs are done by female artists. So I think, and actually we did a survey of our monkeys. Of course, they got 25 bananas if they filled it all out, which, but when we learned a lot about them, but I think it was like 95% of our On-Chain Monkey holders are also men. So I would just, we definitely love men in the space, but also would love to encourage more women to get in the space, because it's, there's, it's still very, very early days, and there's lots of room for creative people to, create NFTs, to get involved. I mean, in all aspects of different parts of the business. You don't have to know how to code necessarily, do blockchain. I mean, there's been met so many people that are kind of moving from the traditional art world into the NFT space as well, which is why I'm really excited for NFT Basel, because it's literally a couple days before the traditional art fair, Art Basel, and so there's going to be a lot of crossover between, I think, the traditional art world and this NFT world.
Yeah, I think you've touched on a couple of things there, and definitely the diversity is a huge one. And so, thinking there's probably even an opportunity if there's some, females out there that could actually be great ambassadors and get out there that, I've been calling it slingshot theory, is that so many people want to give you a leg up and then, equalize and create things, make things a lot more equal. So definitely opportunity there.
I mean, Reese Witherspoon a few weeks ago just posted on Twitter, hey, I want to hear about all the interesting crypto projects that involve women. And then she actually changed her profile pic to one of the World of Women. So, I mean, it's definitely something we need to work on. But I'd say, for anyone who's interested in the space, just go on. I say just because sometimes it can be difficult for people, but just go on to you could OpenSea Foundation. I mean, there's so many different platforms you can go and look at stuff, and set up a wallet and just put a little bit in there, and just buy an NFT, just like, I don't know, learn about the space, or if you don't want to start buying, another thing you can really do, you can learn a lot just going into Discord and kind of following all the different groups. And people are literally on Discord, 24/7 chatting about these different collections, and you can just find, hey, is there a community that I like and that I feel like kind of fits my my interests and values, and you can learn a lot just going through Discord. You don't have to necessarily buy, but it's always fun when you have a little bit of skin in the game to learn more about the space.
Yeah, I love that. And I went on to OpenSea.io a while ago, and I've just been sharing for people is do that as the first step and have a look at all of the different collections and the different NFT types of NFTs, and have a browse and get familiar. So, you put an NFT, music is a big one, art's a big one, but then there are also things like domain names, or, just different things that you could actually have a digital, a smart contract with on the blockchain. So,
and I'll say come to MetaGood.
So much out there.
We're launching end of the month, so definitely come to MetaGood and check out our stuff. Our next collections, obviously, we're going to be focused mostly end of year, kind of launching this On-Chain Monkey #2, this 3D On-Chain Monkey that's coming. But we also have collections lined up with Elix, who was the UN's digital ambassador, so literally the first artist for the United Nations, and they're going to do a launch of probably like 1,000 NFTs that will correspond to different UN SDG goals. We'll be doing, a lot of the artists from the COP26 projections will be doing, NFTs of their work to benefit, climate activists, causes. And we have a very long list. We'll be doing stuff at the CFC as well. And then also, I just had a call today. We'll see if this happens, but probably something around the World Economic Forum. as well, which could be really interesting. Kind of if you go to certain events that are ESG related, you'll be able to scan your phone as you go in and download various NFTs for attendance. And we're still working that out, but yeah, there's no endless supply of demand to work with various organizations to help them kind of set up their charitable NFT strategy.
Yeah, incredible. And so MetaGood's the platform, definitely check it out. Will you be doing a launch, a big launch party, or how are you going to get the word out when you do go live?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of our audience today is, in Discord, on On-Chain Monkey and Twitter. And so they're very, like, that community's been very excited and has known about this OCM2 for a while. And so that, like, just delivering this second NFT on the MetaGood platform will be our big launch. I don't know if we'll be doing like we haven't really thought about it yet. We're more, I think we're waiting until end of month to give people to earn up to 100 bananas, and people are giving them to, if they have more, they're like giving more out. So to make sure that everyone, as many people as possible, can get them. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll be in Miami, we'll be in St. Moritz in January. I'm sure we will do some type of launch, but it will probably be online, because we'll start distributing some of the OCMs kind of over the course of December till end of year. So there won't be an NFT event that we'll be attending in person to launch, but we'll probably do, Twitter Spaces and other marketing.
I love it. So we're about to come to a close. So I do have to ask you the most important question for a Future by Design webinar series. And that is that imagine that it's now the year 2041. You've just woken up, and based on our conversation and what you do, what does the world look like?
Oh, geez, 2041. Well, I don't, yeah, let me think. I mean, I would hope that it's a world that is not on its current path of kind of self-destruction, that it's a more sustainable world, a more inclusive world, and yeah, one that we can all live in and hopefully thrive in, maybe better than how things are today. So I'm optimistic that it will be a better world than we have today.
I love that. And definitely from our conversation, I think the point that you made around people actually have their digital assets, and they'll be collecting things to show what they stand for. And I think that's probably one of the most important things. It's like, you walk into someone's home and you see the stuff that they like, you see the pictures on the walls, and you can understand, it might be pictures of family, you see what's important to them. And I think as we become more digital and more global, that will be more and more important to be able to stand for those things and have those great stories about how we were able to be a part of changing the world by being able to use NFTs and digital art to do that. Very inspiring.
That's a good answer. I like your answer. But yeah. I mean, it's very much kind of as you think about your profile pic on any of these social media, right? It's kind of like, that's who you are in like how you look. But I mean, why represent yourself just by how you look physically? Like, if you could represent yourself by, what you stand for, right? And that's kind of what the opportunity of NFTs we think is kind of signaling that you are a good person and want to do things for good social purposes.
That's super cool. And you mentioned fashion as well. I'm getting excited now, thinking I'm just wearing an all white dress, and in the future we're going to be all in augmented reality, and you'll be able to wear different patterns or different styles of whatever you might want. You actually won't be just projecting it online. It'll be that augmented reality of the hybrid of in-person and online.
And I just see one question that popped up. Let me just answer this one from Stephen. Is there a way we track the performance of the monkeys available to buyers and public? Yes. So the monkeys are available on OpenSea and Nifty Gateway currently. So if you just go to OpenSea.io or Nifty Gateway, and make sure you put an on-chain monkey and that it's like the verification check, because some of these platforms, people will try to, unfortunately copy other art. So just make sure it's verified. But yeah, you can kind of, you can see, what the prices are, and you can buy them. It's open to anyone to purchase those.
Love it. Do you have any final thoughts to share with everyone before we finish up?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we're very excited about, our initial collection, about our community that is, very passionate. And we're excited to work with other nonprofits on, helping to launch their collections as well, and also make it easy for NFT collectors to donate their NFTs for charity. So I'd say, definitely reach out to hello@metagood.com and I know Lisa's already made some amazing intros around Great Barrier Reef restoration. And so, but we'd love to talk to interesting groups that are exploring using NFTs for charitable uses.
Incredible. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for continuing the conversation. I have really enjoyed the inspiration today on creating that future by design. So thank you, Amanda, and thank you everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Lisa. Talk soon.